Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show off a live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more refracted curvature. Neil, 10th man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hello.
Wow, what enthusiasm. We love it. So we are going to do a video today. I don't know if we should just jump straight into it. Maybe not even bother with any housekeeping, as the one member of the panel, Gene, was very keen for us to do.
Yeah, let's keep it dirty.
Keep it dirty? What if the universe is math? As postulated by PBS Spacetime. So I'm going to do specific in the live stream kisses, whatever you like.
I said sweets, as John calls them, sweets.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, so that's what we're going to be covering today. So please go and check out the video. Let them know Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and we'll crack on with this.
Are curious and fluffy. They're also made of cells that are made of molecules that are made of atoms or fluffy. They have no subjective sense. The quantum world is made of math.
Now, math is a description. You can describe things like fourth dimensional space with math, but that doesn't mean the world is made of math. That's a reification fallacy. Mathematics is a descriptive language used to describe not only things that exist, but things that do not. So,
this guy,
Go on.
Sorry, can I say something else? Well, in the microcosm there, literally is the math.
What? Redefine it.
No, like we're talking about gravity, right, as a force.
Indeed. But
Right.
there you go.
He thinks that the measurement is basically the thing itself. It's like, oh, we're deriving this from math. Oh, so that means it's math because we don't have anything else.
Functions with mathematics for a cat. But that's like
Wow.
saying, is a cat made of Spanish? It's nonsensical.
Back supposition to that nonsense as well.
Oh, I missed that.
He said hypothesis. That's specific.
Did he? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Just have a listen
He
again.
said
He's
the,
speaking pretty quickly.
The mathematical hypothesis.
Equations. In this sense, the quantum world is made of math. So does that mean cats are made of math too? If you believe the mathematical universe hypothesis, then
There it is.
yes. And so are you.
No, I'm not made of maths. No, that's a description. I'm not made of Italian either.
In his essay, The Unreasonable Effectiveness of Mathematics, the physicist Eugene Wigner
That sounds like a bit of a contradiction, right? So the guy's speaking on mathematics, but he's calling himself a physicist. Okay, so maths, as we've already pretty much established, and I'm sure the audience is now following along, is a language. It's used to describe things. Now, physics is the nature of the physical. Now, these two things aren't the same. But this guy's calling himself a physicist when he's talking about something in mathematics.
said that the enormous usefulness of mathematics in the natural sciences is something bordering on the mysterious.
Not really. It can utilise mathematics after it's established cause and effect reasoning. So if, for example, and I use this example often, you are to describe how much acid quantity in water will cause boiling, and you can give it in millilitres, or you can weigh it, or you can give its atomic values. That's for the acid. Yeah, but for the fact that it doesn't cause water to boil. Heat does. So you've got the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, as QE would put it, right? No, It's inconsequential until you've established cause. Now, once you've established in this instance that heat causes water to boil, by way of varying heat to see if you can cause the natural phenomena of water boiling to occur, then afterwards you can say how much heat, how long in duration. Yeah? At what point phase change occurs. You can qualify all the different things that occur that you watch. But the observation and description of the things that have occurred will not alter the cause and effect supposition being validated through experimentation when somebody very smart supposed that heat, when applied to water, will cause it to boil. The phenomena that would be studied in natural science. So, beg my indulgence, my friend. I would say that math is pretty much inconsequential to the scientific method, because you don't need to describe anything mathematically when you're establishing cause. So I fundamentally disagree.
This statement was inspired by the observation that so many aspects of the physical world seem to be describable and predictable by
Describable? Oh, yes. You can describe things with maths. That's correct. Predictable, when it comes to the physical and natural world, that's physics, that's science, would be a suppositional hypothesis. That's a prediction in science. A hypothesis is a prediction. So to be predictable, you need to be able to vary something that's gone through the scientific method with a hypothesis. That's a scientific prediction, not maths. You know, again, knowing how much acid won't ever change that it's not causing something. Yeah? That's a quantitative versus qualitative distinction that's not being applied by this person.
mathematical equations to incredible precision. The idea that the universe is in some sense mathematical is thousands of years old.
Okay. The idea that the world is Spanish, that makes no sense. Yeah, to say that the world is a language, it makes no sense.
Pythagoras taught that all things are made of numbers. Plato had some notions too.
All things can be described with numbers would be accurate. All things are made of numbers is not. Again, all things are made of Mandarin. No, that makes no sense, does it? Yeah? Because you can describe all things in Mandarin, but it doesn't mean all things are made of Mandarin. That makes no sense.
Which I'll come back to, but it was the program of reductionism of modern physics that really inspired Wigner's statement. One by one, the seemingly disparate theories in physics were...
Sorry, disparate theories? See, theories come out of the application of the scientific method. So if you have a validated cause and effect supposition, that's an experiment, then you can form a theory. What's this disparate theories in physics? What? No, it sounds like you're confusing maths with physics. Physics just deals with the physical and natural world. That's science. The natural science, that's the scientific method when you apply it to an establishment of a cause and effect relationship. But at the end of that method, maybe I'm misinterpreting. What does, in his vernacular, do you think he means by disparate? Anybody? Maybe I'm misinterpreting what his use of this word means.
I think the more important word is how is he using the word theory at the end of that? What kind of theory is he talking about?
Well, like I say, scientific theory would have been born out of a empirical outcome after varying and manipulating that which you assume cause and effect you observed in nature. That's what a theory would be if it was actually science. But he's got this word
Right,
disparate.
but if they are saying we believe we live on the globe and we believe there's orbits and we did some calculations and our predictions came out to be true, and then they all of a sudden the math proves we live on the globe. Is that where he's going?
That seems very unlikely, though.
Well, because if they do
disparate means
prediction,
it means containing elements of very different form to one another. That's what it means. Things so unalike that there is no basis for comparison. That's what he means. Okay. So when he says disparate theories, I think what he's talking about are your Einsteinian quote-unquote theories and your Cavendish quote-unquote theories. Now, they're disparate because they bear no semblance to the world that we experience, because they're based in mathematics and in bullshit. But in terms of scientific theories, they're not going to be any disparate ones. In terms of validating something that causes something else, it's never going to be in conflict with some other theory. How's that going to be the case? The world is how it is. Once you figure out why it is, with an explanation of cause, that's not going to suddenly vary some of the part of the world in how it behaves. So this word disparate, I knew that I had an issue with it, and I was right in doing so. I didn't major on the minors there. I'm glad I looked it up.
Revealed to be special cases of more elegant underlying mathematics.
No, there's no special, elegant, underlying mathematical cases. When it comes to laws of nature, laws, number one, aren't science. They're descriptions also. You can describe it in many different languages, some of them be mathematical in nature. But those laws are just descriptions of things that occur always. There's no physics, per se, other than the description of something that occurs, because you're not figuring out what caused it. But you're having these cases where you've got one more elegant description in maths than another. But those have been labelled as theories. Now we're getting somewhere.
Right. He's complaining about how the story, right, the collection of stories based on presuppositional concepts, how they are basically, they're starting to contradict each other. How is that possible? Yeah, because they're...
Yeah, but he's got the outrage to call them disparate theories. You're like, well, while they've been badged theories, in real terms, they're colloquial by definition, even though they're being put into a scientific context. So if you're going to use this colloquial theory with them being disparate, i.e. opposing one another, as Arwin puts it, just outright contradictions in most instances, recognise and then have them oppose other descriptions. The world, meanwhile, continues to tick along quite nicely, and if you've established cause and effect reasoning for any of the parts of the world that you wanted to explore, those things won't be validated or invalidated beyond what you've proven upon experimentation to form that theory.
Right. Thinking that math is reality leads automatically to solipsism, and here's how. If you think that math is reality, well, math is a description. So if you think that everything that exists is only a description, well, descriptions only exist within our consciousness in the information realm. So that would mean that...
Very well put, Arwin.
Lagrangian of the standard model of particle physics and Einstein's field equations of
These would be those disparate theories, by the way, if anyone wasn't, it's the reason there was silence in amongst that was because we got these disparate theories, and there they are. Right? Yeah, okay, so you've got some descriptions, one of which is using Einsteinian concepts of fourth dimensional space-time bending. Yeah, we don't even need to highlight it. We figured it out before you got there.
biology.
Things emerge from time, do they? Really? See, no, not in my experience. Time's not a dimension. Things don't emerge from time. Show me time, my friend. Now show me something emerging from time. Now, given that it's a mathematical description, like everything that you'll be covering here today, it's not going to emerge anything in physical time, turning time into a dimension.
Hold on a second. Every morning at 5 o'clock, the sun emerges.
So you think time bore the sun, did you, Neil? No, time's not a dimension, and it isn't birthing the sun, Neil. Number one, our notions of time have been born out of how we perceive the sun. So, if anything, it's the antithesis of your description of the sun being birthed from time, when our description of time has mostly come from the sun, describing its motion. Yeah? So how much of our experience elapses, the numbers and digits we ascribe, have come out of that system that we observe in the celestial items that move. Their paths, their timings, give us our notions and our concepts of time. So then take that and work outside of the convention to describe our experience in existence. Well, that working outside the convention is where you end up with an extra dimension. Now, it's perfectly reasonable to describe how much what we call time elapses when describing the progress of something. Now, you can put a stopwatch to that. But then when you say, no, the line between back then, 2 minutes ago, and now, is a line akin to a Euclidean dimension. Or a Cartesian line. No, it isn't. Time is not a dimension. But when you have that misapprehension, you'll want to square the circle of disparate theories, which is what this dude's doing. Maths is not reality. Quick shout out to Godzilla37, who says, I'm not a number. I'm a human being. However, I just found that I made numbers, apparently. I'm just made of numbers. Made of money. You've been so supportive of the show, Godzilla, so thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Really do appreciate the support. You are not made of your money. But I appreciate it because I've got lots of things to fix. So thank you very much for the support.
Obeying these equations. So, if we can describe baseline reality in...
Again, he thinks reality has to obey equations. Now, we describe things in reality with equations. The reality isn't then subservient to our descriptions.
Purely mathematical terms, can we take this one step further? What if we say that the universe isn't just described by mathematics?
It is just described with mathematics in this context, though. So whatever you say next, yeah, it's just you aggrandizing your mathematical prowess into it being physics when it isn't.
But in a more fundamental way, it actually is mathematics.
You could say it, and you're going to say it, but I'm not going to agree with it, because I understand how descriptions aren't physics. How language isn't physics. Now, obviously, you don't appreciate that describing things doesn't govern physics, the physical. How things in our physical world work. No, you can describe them all day long with your mathematics, and you can think, wow, I've done such a good job that I control the reality itself with my number. No, you're a clown. Your head's just got too big. That's why you're doing this. Yeah, you want your maths to govern reality. It doesn't.
This is the proposal of MIT cosmologist Max Tegmark.
Look at this smiling cheese ball. My bad. Yeah, curtains. This dude. This is the dude that wants his mathematics to be governing the physical reality. Yeah, he wants his maths to be physics. No, mate. Yeah, you'd be subservient to the world and how it behaves if you were a physicist. You'd be scratching the surface of trying to explain it by establishing cause. But even then, they're not controlling the world, and your maths certainly isn't when it describes it, or attempts to.
He calls it the mathematical universe hypothesis.
Oh, really? See, a hypothesis in physics is a supposition of a cause and effect relationship yet to be validated through systematic experimentation. That's what a hypothesis is in physics, but according to him, it's what he calls it. Oh, he calls it a hypothesis. Yeah, he's stealing valor from science now, isn't he?
It states that our external physical reality...
No, my friend, if he's saying it, yeah, that's got sod all to do with reality. You know, that's everything to do with his words and how he describes things. Yeah?
Is a mathematical structure.
No, you can describe it with mathematical structures. And no matter how much you want them to be the physics of our world, they are not. Yeah? Now, you've been suckered in by this dude, haven't you, mate? That's why you're verbalising it to us now. But me, what? The scummiest pond life that is considered on this plane? The flat earther even recognises that descriptions aren't governing our reality. So this is pretty sad, really, by all accounts. And were you to respond and tell me, nah, math is reality. Yeah, see how that worked out for Ed's rhetoric. Maybe you could leave a link to my video when you do respond. In the same way, I'm going to respond to you and post a link to your video and encourage my audience to go and say hello, let them know how wonderful they think your material is, and say Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, after doing a response video. To you, thinking that you govern the world with descriptions. How embarrassing. It is pretty sad though, would you not agree? Discord and G+. Pathetic.
Well, yeah, but if I describe my cat as orange, therefore I made my cat orange, well, why is that wrong?
If I describe my cat in Chinese or in Mandarin or whatever, that makes my cat Chinese? No. It's just ludicrous.
Tegmark makes the case for the hypothesis by first defining the concept
Maybe he could define what hypothesis is before he defines concepts within his hypothesis that he hasn't defined.
of baggage. Any theory in physics always comes with two components.
Okay. Any theory in physics always comes with two components. A set of equations. Oh my God. You think a theory in physics comes with equations? Au contraire. Not at all. No, a theory comes after validated experimentation that prove cause and effect. So once you've got the cause and effect, you can form a theory. You don't need any equations for that. Oh, was this just what that guy said about his theory? Yeah, Dumbo? No, I'm afraid not. We don't accept this. In fact, we reject it wholeheartedly and call foul. Because you're talking about maths, but yet physics means the physical. And now you're talking about physical things containing equations. No, you'll never show me anything in physical reality that contains an equation. Ever. It's not possible. Yeah? You're not going to show me a mouse and then show me how it's got equations in it. No. You'll be able to describe various aspects of it with equations, but you'll never show me equations in the mouse. Yeah? So this is utter tripe. Like, absolutely and totally absurd. And annoying. Shout out to Jamal24, who says, I think what he's trying to say is that math is reality. Everything is numbers. We need 4 more hours because 4 is a number. That's true. Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Also, again, woohoo! Shout out to Godzilla. He says he's right. 4 is a number. Now choose. Or now, no choice, Nathan. No choice now, Nathan. Let me just read that again. That was a complete balls up on my part. He's right. 4 is a number. No choice now, Nathan. Thank you for the super chat, guys. Really appreciate the support.
A set of equations and a bunch of sentences explaining exactly how these equations relate.
That's what you think a theory is? Yeah, you think that's a physics theory? All right. Maybe define theory. Yeah, that would help. Before you start babbling on about how it's got a few sentences and a few equations. That's a theory, is it? Oh, definitely not, you clown. Go away and learn what a theory is before you start parroting off some smiling cheeseball who thinks that maths is reality and telling us how theory in physics contains sentences and equations. What bloody outrage. So yeah, Nathan Oakley 1987, PBS Space Time is the channel. Obviously, I'd hope he puts a link to my channel if he responds.
To our human intuitions and what we can observe via experiment.
Observed by experiment. So we've got these words all being hijacked left, right. So observed by experiment, that's a composition fallacy. No, in an experiment, you would be varying that which you assume causes the effect you observed at step 1 in the method. But what we can observe via the experiment? No, the experiment validates the cause of the effect if you followed the method. And then you can form a theory. Yeah, that theory won't be a few sentences and equations. Yeah, it'll show the cause and effect relationship that you validated when you varied that which you assume caused the effect that you observed at step 1. This is tripe. This is nonsense. What bloody outrage.
For example, quantum mechanics is
Oh, here we go. Now he's going to start doing it with quantum mechanics.
presented in textbooks as a handful of equations along with a list of postulates relating to the equations.
The equations? Who gives a crap? Quantum mechanics is based on experiment. That would be supposition of cause and effect relationship based on a phenomena. That's what that is. It's got sod all to do with the maths that's derived thereafter. Were you going to say that computers run all sorts of maths? And they've got the label of quantum, therefore quantum is maths? You're a clown.
Written in plain English. Baggage, as Tegmark puts it. Although I have to say that his choice of the word baggage may be a hint to Tegmark's bias towards the primacy of math over anything non-math.
No shit. Yeah, you think? He's derived the word of physics in every single instance with experiments, hypotheses, theory, and bundled it in as a described few equations and a few sentences. What, you think he's got a bias against non-math. Yeah, he's got a bias against reality. And that's not an insult. That's what's going on. The guy's got a bias against reality, mate.
Max Tegmark points out a pattern in the math-to-baggage ratio in theories of nature.
Anybody who's thinking this bearded twat is just talking complete nonsense when he talks about the, quote, math-to-baggage ratio, yeah, you're not alone. He is an idiot, numpty, talking complete tosh. Yeah, the baggage-to-math ratio. Okay. Yeah, meanwhile, us, the ridiculed, the flat earthers of this world, we talk about how we do things in reality. Things like navigation and science, physics, the physical. And when we talk about maths, we insist on measurement, application of scale to physical reality. What's this you say? The math-to-baggage ratio? Get the fuck out of here.
To get this, first, let's arrange the world into a hierarchy of emergence.
Because you can do that, what with math being reality and it being at your fingertips, Mr. God. Let's arrange reality. No, you see, your math doesn't govern reality. So unfortunately, Clown Shoes, we can't do that. It doesn't matter how many numbers we write down, we're not going to be arranging reality. You understand that? Hello?
For example,
But
you
that's
might
what
say
they
that...
think.
Go ahead, Neil.
Saying, but that's what they think constantly, that math is reality, and that's their fallacy.
Yeah, reification.
Human culture emerges from individual minds, which emerge from the neural dynamics of brains, which emerge from the actions of cells, which emerge from molecules, which emerge from atoms and quantum fields. In terms of scientific field, that list corresponds...
In terms of scientific fields, you've just made this diagram to describe something with a limited understanding of it. But now we're talking about in terms of scientific fields. I don't understand this juxtaposition. Science is a method. It's used to establish cause. Cause of what, you say? Well, definitely not things that are man-made, and not the cause of descriptions in maths. The cause of naturally occurring phenomena. So you're just hijacking the words of science left and right.
to sociology, then psychology, then...
But you think sociology and psychology are science? Au contraire, they are pseudoscience. Yeah? So neuroscience being the study of the mind, neurology, yeah? Unless you're establishing cause and effect reasoning with systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis, it's not science. It's a study. Now, I'm not invalidating any of the neurologists. Now, many might try and decry the work of psychology and sociology, but they're definitely not science.
Neuroscience, then biology, then chemistry, then physics.
Biology and chemistry, on the other hand, can have naturally occurring phenomena that can be put through the scientific method. Medicine has been enhanced by way of systematic experimentation to figure out the cause of phenomena, like people dying of various diseases. That's a phenomena that you can put through the scientific method. That's biology. Chemistry, the same. You can ascertain the cause of chemical interactions, effects, through systematic experimentation based on hypotheses, so that you can have empirical outcome. But then he says, and then physics. No, physics is the overarching umbrella that all the sciences sit under. The physical. All of them are physics. Yeah, if they're following the method. But if they're not, they're pseudoscience. If they're claiming to be science and they haven't followed the method, that is the definition of pseudoscience. A claim of science where the application of the scientific method has not been applied. That's pretty much verbatim what it says in the dictionary. For pseudoscience as a definition. Something claimed to be science that hasn't been through the scientific method. But if it has, you can subcategorize them under the umbrella of physics. It's not a separate category.
And maybe then you have a presumptive theory of everything.
A presumptive theory? No, you have presumptions of cause in hypotheses. A theory comes after you've validated something with an experiment. You utter cluster screw of nonsense. You think you've got presumptive theories? No, they come after validation of cause. They come after experiment and validation, after the empiricism's been offered. Then comes the theory. What's this presumptive nonsense? Oh, you mean your bullshit pseudoscience theories? The colloquial theories? The having a little think about it theories? Those presumptive theories? Because in science, that means something very different. Something that's come after empiricism's been established. That's what science has when it means theory. You don't mean that, do you? Very much not. You're just using these words that most people are going to assume you've got some validity to this bullshit when you use them. Yeah, you're just talking about language, my friend. Don't hijack the words of physics and science.
Everything at the very bottom. In principle, each theory in one of these fields could be derived from the theories below it. Tegmark points out that theory...
Sorry, you think there's a theory of chemistry and a theory of biology? Are you a clown? Oh, God, I'm going to... Choking on my own phlegm as a laugh. Sorry, maybe you could offer me the theory of biology. I'd love to see it. What's the theory of physics? Anybody? Anybody know what he's talking about? Is it just me? Am I going nuts? This guy's basically postulating this graph has got these things on it listed and they've all got theories attached. The theory of biology, the theory of physics, the theory of chemistry. Mate, you need to look up what these words mean.
Theories at the top are mostly regular human language, while theories...
Theories come after experiments. Experiments have empirical outcomes to them. It's not about language. Yeah?
at the bottom are mostly math.
Go on, John.
I was going to say theories are like biology has germ theory, right? There is no theory of biology. That doesn't make sense. It's delusional at best. I don't think he knows what these words mean.
He's got everything mixed up.
Betty had someone over an absolute barrel with that. I can't remember who it was, but QE and her were discussing that exact topic, and then it came up on a debate she was having just by coincidence very shortly after they'd been discussing it. And somebody's heckling from the sidelines about math being reality, just like this guy. And germ theory came up. And no, that was right. There's somebody who's an actual physicist in the audience, globe-believing physicist, who understands germ theory, right? And Betty's opponent is saying math is reality, same as this tripe. And germ theory comes up, and Betty says, give me the equation for germ theory then. Right? Math is reality, give me the theory in mathematical format. Okay, it's got a theory. We know it exists. Math is reality, give it me. And from the chat, his compadre on the globe side's like, yeah, you're not going to have a good time with that, my friend. Yeah, you're not going to give us an equation for something that's been validated through systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis, because that's something that's got cause and effect reasoning behind it, as opposed to maths. So there is no mathematics for germ theory. There's no equation for it, you clown. Right? But so yeah, shout out to Betty, our illustrious leader on the Discord side, on the Discord server. So yeah, she had someone absolutely banged to rights with that argument, and all she did was ask for the equation. All right, germ theory's got an equation, give it me. Was that there isn't one? Well, that kind of scuppers your argument quite significantly, then, doesn't it? Now.
A sociology.
Good one is also. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Duncan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a good one is also show me -5 apples.
Right. Yeah, Anthony Riley's favourite.
Textbook is filled with paragraphs of text, while a string theory textbook is wall-to-wall group theory and algebraic topology. If you're willing to extrapolate this trend, then maybe at the very bottom of the hierarchy, our coveted theory of everything.
Right, theory of everything. So, theory based on the scientific experimentation systematic thereof to establish cause and effect of everything. So you've got the cause of everything. Because in scientific terminology, that's what this statement means. The theory that followed the systematic experimentation to establish the cause and effect reasoning behind everything. Yeah, no wonder you think there's theories for physics and theories for science and theories
Well,
for
they
biology. You're a clown. You don't know what the word means.
Nathan, they
Yes.
hijacked it. I heard it all weekend in football. The defensive theory, the
No,
offensive theory.
that's different. No. Colloquially, theory is a perfectly acceptable word to use when you say we're going to build an investigation. We've got a theory who committed the crime. Colloquially, there's nothing wrong with that use. But when you're in the context of science, which this guy absolutely is, he's trying to assert that maths is reality. Maths is physics. The world is made of numbers. Yeah, we're not in the Matrix. My God. But that's what he wants, isn't it? So fine, we're entertaining it. But where does he put himself in terms of genre? What category is he in? He's talking about the fields of science. He's talking about quantum mechanics. He's talking about experiments and theories. So, well, that puts him very much squarely in the face of having to justify it with a cause and effect supposition. That's a hypothesis, validated by experiment. So, when you just say the word theory, I've got a theory about how I can get over this hill here with my gearbox in a certain gear to get over it. Yeah, that's fine. That's not reasonable. But if I say, there's a science to getting over this hill, I've got the theory in my handbook. No, you haven't. And the moment you said science, you put yourself into a genre that establishes cause for phenomena. That's natural science. That's the method of natural science. But what, you just wanted to say there's a science to your Land Rover and you're going to put it in low ratio, and that's the theory of getting over the hill. No. That's then ultimately a pseudoscience nonsense bullshit claim and a hijacking of the terminology to give it more grandeur. So, definitely science to going over that. No, there isn't science to going over this hill in your Land Rover. No, there isn't science to your mathematics in this instance. Ah, thank God Adam's here. Hey, Adam. Thank God you're here.
Afternoon,
That's what
guys.
they said, though. They brought science into it. They're talking about the science behind this offensive scheme, the science behind this defensive scheme, and then they throw the word theory in there.
Oh, no, that does contextualize it very differently, Neil. So, yep, take it all back. If they're saying there's a science to the offensive, no, there isn't. There's a graph and a math.
The only way you can legally use there's a science to that would be the offense and defensive playbooks could, from an English literature point of view, be described as the science of gridiron. But it's only applicable, the word science in this case, and it's being used to mean a compendium of an organized compendium of one specific topic, which presents all the known information about it. You can use the term science like that.
So he's
but it's not in the
skirting
correct
on a
term.
reasonable use of it, just skirting on. If they've got a playbook, but it's not a compendium, it's not a complete book. But yeah, there's certain circumstances, Neil, where you just let it slide.
So that's the only thing you could challenge him on. So I had to look up that because I always remember one of my favourite books was Pharmaceutics, The Science of Dosage Form Design. So I'm trying to justify myself. How the hell are we using that? But that is why. You see, that is another definition. But recognise that definition doesn't have any empiricism with it. It doesn't have to include any science in the sense of what we'd call science. It's just a collation of all the knowledge you have, which could be logic or just history. Or in my case,
so
technology.
by the same token, you could have the science of flying, and then the book would contain all of the information on how we went from being on the ground to being in the air, and how all of the motion, the Bernoulli principle, all of the things that apply to it and the mathematics thereof would be contained therein, and that would be the science of flying.
Yeah, the science of knitting. So it goes through all the different loops and stitches you do in an organised way, how to do it, and it's all a complete compendium of information on knitting. That would be the science of knitting. But it's being used in the world term of knowledge. And
sure, but when you're in a realm of describing reality, that's physics. When you're talking about the world we experience and whether or not it's made of maths, again, not his description, but the genre is physics, the physical. He's saying, is the phys in physics, the physical, math. No, they're completely separate genres. They're completely separate categories. They're in completely separate classrooms because they're completely separate things. One is a description. The other is the way that we experience the physical world that we are in. So they're totally different things. It's just people getting above their station. You wanted to be a physicist. And even if you'd have become one, this guy we're responding to in this case, it's not him because he's parroting off the other guy that he's reading about with the cheesy face from earlier, whose name I can't remember. But that guy wanted to be a physicist, but even if he'd got to be one, he wouldn't have been satisfied because he wants to be able to control the world. He's saying that the numbers, which are at his fingertips and he controls, are what the world is made of. Now, if we can subcategorize the world as such, it's like, well, no, you can't. That's where the problem occurs. When you say, well, if we have the world in this way with an Einsteinian description of it, it's like, no, Einstein's not controlling the physics of the world in his crap description of it with the fourth dimension. There we go, just people above their own station.
There will be no baggage at all, simply a set of elegant equations. If we define baggage as the stuff that encodes the relation between the equations and our human perspective...
I see. So if we say this word baggage means the physical from maths. So just remember, when I say baggage, what I mean is this total convolution of maths being reality. Just forget the steps between our human perspective, what you mean, how I take in the physical world I experience, and the mathematics that's describing it in a language. I'm just gonna bundle that all together and call it baggage. Yeah, for a mathematician, it's a very appropriate word. Like the baggage of your math not being reality. But you just like flip it on its head and say, oh, all that us not being reality when we're descriptions of it. All that's just baggage, really. In reality, we are actually talking about how the world is maths. And anything that's not is just baggage. Yeah, how appropriate of a word. Now, I don't accept that your descriptions of my human perspective, that's my experience of the physical, is actually a mathematical one. Because you've put the word baggage with quotes around it. No, it doesn't work like that, mate.
Then if you remove humans, you remove the baggage.
Right. So if we understand that baggage means my interpretation through maths of my physical experience, and then we remove the physical human experience, we're only left with the maths. Wow. I mean, it's like you've turned the math into reality before my very eyes, you clever wizard. Or not.
So now we invoke the external reality hypothesis.
I see. So now we've detached all human physical experience from our maths. We can call it the reality hypothesis. Yeah, but we're still just describing stuff in a non-reality, non-physical, detached from our human experience world that isn't anything to do with the physical that you think it influences. So no. Yeah, this is garbage. Yeah? A mathematician wanking. That's what this is. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Yeah? You and the guy who wrote this are wankers. This is your mental masturbation, where you turn your math into reality. I find it very sad.
The assumption that there is an external physical reality that exists independently of us.
What, the one that we experience? The one that you just detached it from? Well, there is. You've just made it up and are wanking about it.
And that humans and our baggage-heavy minds are...
baggage-heavy physical interactions with our reality. How inconvenient they are for us and our mathematical hypothesis. Oh, wow. Wow. Sniff your own farts much?
Urgent from this baggage-free baseline reality.
Yeah, if we just get rid of baggage... remember when I clarified for this very purpose that baggage is you and your human experience described in maths? You just need to get rid of that for this tosser's nonsense to make sense and be your reality. Just drop the baggage of your physical reality experience, okay? Have you done that? Are you all experiencing less baggage right now? What, you still got that baggage? Bloody idiots. You just don't understand math.
That's where you get into the high energy short distance problems in this baggage he's describing.
In Tegmark's view, that leaves only math for our description of that reality.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah, we figured that out, yeah.
If there is nothing else, say...
There is, though. There's still my physical baggage. I mean, the reality I experience. Yeah, if there's nothing out there, yeah, there is. You know, those suitcases over there, I'm going to call those suitcases reality. Can you carry them for me? What, you don't want to? I'll sod off to your non-reality without any suitcases then, Dumbo.
To an electron, but a set of numbers describing its position, momentum and charge, etc., can we say that the electron simply is that set of numbers?
You can, but I would call you a tosser. Yeah, we could. Yeah, we can also reify the descriptions of them into them being like orbital little items moving around other items and various other shite that people do when they've tried to describe this stuff with maths. But no, unfortunately, just because you've got a really good way of describing them with numbers, can I please ask you to drop your baggage of physical reality and say that they just are the numbers, please? No, you can't. Okay? You asked, I've told you. No. I've still got my physical reality baggage. Baggage, I don't see it as baggage, my friend. I see it as wonderful, the physical reality. It's not baggage to me, even though this Dumbo's labelled it as such.
The mathematical universe hypothesis hinges on the notion that mathematical existence equals physical existence. This is the
Oh, I see. So it's hinging on the idea that the baggage you dropped when you detached us from physical reality is actually the mathematical reality. So it's contingent on us accepting math is reality for you to prove that math is reality. So if I don't accept this linchpin thing that it all hinges on, that basically destroys your God complex then, doesn't it? It kind of pisses on the bonfire so badly that it's embarrassing. When I just say, no, I'm not going to detach my physical baggage of reality from your mathematics, so then you can say that there is no reality attachment to mathematics, therefore there is only the mathematics, and therefore it's reality. Yeah, that doesn't work, mate. It's absolutely absurd. I'm surprised you couldn't figure that out yourself.
most controversial part of the idea.
Hey.
Hello.
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 Hello. Mind-independent reality is a direct contradiction of quantum mechanics.
I can't remember the context, so you'll have to fill us in on what you mean, because I haven't kept up enough to know what that means. Go ahead.
Mind-independent reality. For matter to exist, you must have a knower. There's the context.
Gotcha.
It's a direct violation of the entire quantum mechanics.
Gotcha. No, thank you for clarifying. Have you been outraged by this as well?
I just caught that last part.
It's akin to the video you sent me. You sent me a video which I did listen through, but right at the beginning of the video, the guy was like, now, for some of you who haven't got an extensive understanding of tensor mathematics, this might be a bit over your head. For you, go and watch another video. For anybody who has, follow along and listen. And I was like, you know what? I don't actually have a really good understanding of tensor mathematics, but I'm going to listen anyway. And it's about a 20-minute video. About 8 minutes in, I was like, yeah, I really should have heeded his warning at the beginning of this, because I've got basically no idea what's going on in the mathematics. But then when I sent that to QE, he was like, yeah, but it's maths. It's not reality, is it? Or words to the effect of, I'd figured it out immediately as being pseudoscience, I think is how you phrased it back to me. And I'm like, yeah, that's all I took away from it. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm humbled by the maths itself, because the maths itself was pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie. And the fact that I didn't understand it is not surprising to me. I'm no mathematician. But it doesn't alter, no matter how beautiful the maths that is being presented is, or in this case, how eloquent the undoing of the maths with tensor calculus or whatever it was is, doesn't change that none of it's based in reality to begin with, right? So, does it matter? Yeah, it's wonderful to look at the maths, but understanding it doesn't change my reality, does it?
Well, you didn't understand first order differential invariance.
What was the comment that I put to you? What was my response? I'll just read it out. I'll dig it out because I thought it was funny, even though it was me saying it. It was to you personally, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
No, I can't remember which channel it was in now. Well, I won't be able to find it in a pinch. But I said words to the effect of, What did you say? What was that list of words again? I don't understand.
First order differential invariance.
I went, of course, it's the first order differential invariance. It was in front of our noses the whole time. Yeah, in other words, I have no idea.
Stephen Crothers is certifiable, man. But he debunked the mathematics of Einstein, just crushed it, right? But you don't really need that because it's supposed to be a scientific theory to begin with, right? So you just ask him, where's the hypothesis in the paper? I wrote back to Stephen. I've talked to him a couple times personally, by the way.
And I admire the guy. I mean, the mathematics was amazing, and he did a really good job up until a point where I lost track. And he did forewarn his audience that may be the case. And I don't know. Yes, he's just going through some maths, but he seemed like a perfectly reasonable fellow in the video.
I got into a forum, into a discussion. I didn't say anything between Stephen Crothers and Nobel laureate, and Stephen just whipped him around by his short hairs.
That's the guy in the video, right?
Say again?
That's the guy in the video that I was just talking about who was debunking Einstein with tensor.
Yeah, Stephen Crothers.
Yeah. He was whipping who around by his short hairs.
Yeah, it's a Dutch guy. It's got a real funny name. I'll find it.
Just out
He's
of
a
interest.
Nobel laureate, so he's a big deal.
Well, yes, indeed. I was just going to say, is the guy in that video Crothers, right? Is that his name?
Stephen Crothers.
Is he a flatty?
No,
No.
I tried to. I talked to him surrounding the topic. I didn't get into it. I was trying to use kid gloves, and it didn't take. So I dropped it with him.
Oh, you've broached it. So you don't know then? You maybe.
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
He's a component of the electric universe.
Oh, he's an electric universe guy. Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. So he's got an interest in debunking some of the universal nonsense from Einstein. Then that's why I was asking. Actually, I wanted to know his motivation in that regard, because there's normally, it's not that I've got a one-track mind, but you think, okay, well, obviously he's got to be a flatty then, right? He's coming from a perspective that he wants to debunk Einstein, but he's electric universe. Okay, no, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I tried to discuss the vacuum of space with him and a couple other of his cohorts, but they kind of dodged the topic. And I did find that Dutch physicist. His name's Gerard T. Hooft, Hooft.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got about 5 minutes left on this live stream, but if we get up to 130 people watching, it's 115 people watching at the moment, then maybe we'll go a little bit longer and respond a bit more to this video.
But let's not lose sight of the fact that he just contradicted all of quantum mechanics, by the way. Mind-independent reality.
So you're saying he put his foot in his mouth?
Yeah, the moment he excluded the knower, given that the quantum mechanics principles are based on knowledge of the which path, in the case of the double slit experiment. That's establishment of cause and effect reasoning by way of systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis, by the way, PBS spacetime. Yeah, that's based on knowledge. So how are you supposed to have a mind independent? It's a contradiction in terms of quantum mechanics at its heart, right, QE? Yes, Nathan. Yeah, great. Let's move on.
Idea.
Sorry,
but the
I
most
did say yes. I was on mute.
Cool.
Part is the implication of this statement. If mathematical existence implies physical existence, then
It doesn't. It doesn't unless I relinquish the baggage you told us to relinquish, because your cheeseball monkey guy that wants to be God has told you to relinquish it and labelled it baggage. I didn't. It was embarrassing when I said no. It was just down to a simple choice. Do I relinquish the baggage of reality for mathematical constructs being reality? And I said no. From that point forward, this is all garbage.
according to Tegmark, everything that exists mathematically also...
According to Tegmark, all right, according to Nathan Oakley, you're a dumbo who's been suckered into relinquishing your own reality because some guy wrote it down.
exists physically.
Hey,
More precise.
Sorry, go on.
Bernard D. Espinal, particle physicist, the Quantum Theory and Reality, Scientific American. This is from 1979. I was a freshman in high school. The doctrine that the world is made up of objects whose existence is independent of human consciousness, that is, mind-independent reality, turns out to be in conflict with quantum mechanics and with facts established by experiment. End of citation and the end of him. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Precisely, any self-consistent mathematical structure that can be written down can be said to mathematically exist, and so it therefore also physically exists.
After we relinquish the baggage? No. No. It's just a description. Getting way above your station in terms of what maths can do, it can describe.
In the same way that our universe does.
No, our universe doesn't. It's described to by Einstein. You know, he's done the same trick. But that's not how our universe, in quotes, exists. Yeah, maths can describe it in Einsteinian fourth dimensions. That doesn't make fourth dimensions real either. Wow.
By the way, in this context, a mathematical structure is a set of mathematical objects that are
Sorry, mathematical objects? Like the mouse that's made of equations, right? That sort of mathematical object. Or is it the ones that exist only in your mathematics after we've dropped the baggage of reality and then called the non-reality of mathematics reality? Yeah, we didn't do that though, did we? Yeah.
base certain axioms. And mathematical objects are number-like entities such as the integers,
Mouses, elephants, hippopotamus.
Yeah, I trip over integers every time I walk out in nature. I tripped over a couple yesterday.
Yeah, I'm
Sprained my
breathing.
ankle.
I'm breathing binary
I had
right
a-
now.
I had a division symbol try to kill me.
Yeah, well, I enjoy eating fractions. Don't know about you.
the real numbers, vectors, etc., and the things that relate these entities like operators, functions, and so on.
As opposed to interactions in physical reality. Yeah, the supernatural consciousness of a human mind. You know, those sorts of things. Yeah, they're all excluded. They're just baggage. Basically, a pain in the ass for maths. What pain?
Every independent, self-consistent such structure manifests as a universe out there somewhere.
Does it? Really? Right, I see. So these maths integers, right? They're universes, basically. Yeah, that makes total sense. If you're a clown.
So what started off as a sort of intuitive claim about physics...
Intuitive? You think this was intuitive? Relinquishing reality as baggage? This was intuitive, was it? Oh, I see. Yeah, very, very intuitive, yeah.
has resulted in a claim about an infinity of parallel universes, what Tegmark calls the level 4 multiverse.
This is where the new bullshit's coming from, isn't it? This is what the new hotness or the new world will be. Yeah, we thought all along that it was just the universe that was flat. No, well, it turns out Earth is flat, but we're existing in parallel universes derived from baggage-laden reality being dropped and descriptions in physical mathematics giving you universes coming out of equations. Yeah, you got these extra dimensions by turning time into a line, working outside the convention that was used to describe it as derived from the celestial movements and turning it into a dimension in Einstein. And our grandiose tossers like this guy and the guy who's citing think they can turn their numbers into universes. They basically want to be God. It's pathetic. Any last remarks? If not, we're going to round out. Go to the after show. No? Nobody got any comments before we round out and go to the after show? As I cue up my camera and turn on my lights. Please, God, say something. No, clearly not. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming streams, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Another massive thank you to all of you tuned in. Smash the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, hit my GoFundMe campaign and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!